Hey, 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 it's Friday, December 6th, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on the West Coast. I am Brannon Beliso. This is Success Never Sleeps, where we as a collective of small business owners, in particular, martial arts school owners, try to figure out this thing called life, create our version of success to be happy, whole, impactful, whatever that might mean to you. So people come here and we gather, we chop it up, we figure it out. And hopefully, when we get through the other side of this hour, you'll be more empowered to create your version of success. But we show couldn't be happening without who? Our sponsors. We love, love, love our sponsors. Who do we have? Tusaw, Market Muscles, Market Muscles, Market Muscles, My Studio, Kids of Life Skills, LC Accounting, and Kin Creative. All companies that I work with, all companies that I'm a part of, all companies whose services I use, and they have impacted not only my business, but my life personally in such great ways. If you're looking for uniforms, equipment, things like that, Tussauds is just heads and tail above anything going on out there as they create better products, different products, environmentally correct products. I didn't know that. All the dip sparring gear that we use, it's very bad for the environment because of the oils and stuff. So they're moving into a different material and it might become law in the future. Market Muscles, Stephen Weinstein just sent me another email about some new upgrade, and he's recommending everybody do that. When it comes to software like My Studio or Market Muscles, essentially we want to make sure that they're constantly updating, no matter how inconvenient that might be, it's going to happen. And I watch people that, they're not super happy. A lot of people with the new attendance portal, some of the things they like about it, some of it they don't. But if they don't roll it out and test it, how do they know? They're just famous in their own mind. Well, hypothetically, this will work. No, let's test it in a bunch of schools. We got to roll it out and get feedback. And whatever they say sucks, we'll work on. Whatever's, doing well, we'll double down on. That's the nature of software. How many updates do you get on your cell phone all the time or your computer? That is a constant. We're fixing bugs is what I hear all the time. Fixing bugs. We're fixing this because you roll it out and it might have looked perfect on paper, but once it starts going down, things happen. So again, what I witness in our industry, people jump ship from one software company to another, from one digital media company to another. The grass is not greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it, right? Kids Love Life Skills. I think it's the best in child's education. I have these long conversations with ChatGPT at times, and I kept asking it 20 different ways. What is it that a parent looks for in a kid's activity? And number one was it's a physical activity that offers some type of life skills benefit to help my child's personal growth and development. I don't care. I tried, asked it 20 different ways. Number one was a good physical activity that offers character development. So if you don't have one in place that you're using efficiently, using effectively, then I'm going to challenge you on that. You can't simply write discipline up on the wall and say we teach, life skills because you don't. Cool. As you come aboard, say your name. Tell me where you're tuning in from as I roll down this list here. LC Accounting. My sister's awesome when it comes to, bookkeeping and, of course, Kin Creative. We're doing some really innovative stuff. I'm not only a client of Kin Creative, I'm a partner with Kin Creative, and I work side by side with the teams now as a consultant, as kind of like I sit on a board, right? So I'm a partner, and I'm in the creatives. So I really love what we're doing. We're only beginning, and what we're going to do to revolutionize our industry, to do more than just run an ad, but to tell your story. I'm just excited. I'm excited about the things we're doing every day there. Cool. All right. So what are we talking about today? Rotating curriculum. I was very grateful. I gave away my e-learning product on rotating curriculum 8.0 because you know what? We all get inundated with Black Friday and Cyber Monday and discount this and buy that and save big to the point where people are showing up at a Walmart beating the crap out of each other over a big screen TV. That is not what the spirit of giving should be about. So in the 11th hour, I chose to make my team crazy and say, I want to give away something that would really impact schools throughout the world. So we gave away Rotating Curriculum 8.0. Great opportunity to talk about it today, and that's what we're going to do. So if you're here, say hello. Tell me where you're tuning in from. If you're somebody that had actually gotten our Rotating Curriculum 8.0, Put that in there as well. Let me know how you're enjoying it. Put it in the comments, and we're going to cut it up. So, what is rotating curriculum? We hear about that all the time, right? I used to think rotating curriculum simply was a way for a school owner to make more money because they could be the only teacher teaching 3 different belt levels. Because most rotating curriculum classes will have 3 different belt levels. The challenge in the old day when we grew up is what? Yellow belt was easy. Let's say yellow orange belt was harder, and orange belt was super hard. Super hard, right? So it was impossible for that yellow belt to do the same curriculum as the orange belt. And the orange belt would want to do the yellow belt curriculum because it was too easy and too boring. So what we recognized in creating rotating curriculum, we all know Goldilocks and the 3 bears. Yeah. Okay. One porridge was too hot. One porridge was too cold. One porridge was just right. Now the porridge that's just right, everybody could eat it. It's the same thing here, folks. The exact same thing. You have to design a curriculum where 3 belt levels are in it, covering a span of a year, right? Because you rotate out into the next level in a year. I truly, truly believe, and this was eye-opening for me. This was via Roland Osborne, by the way. Roland Osborne, good friend of mine. He's the one who woke up this Kenpo guy who'd been in Kenpo the way my dad taught me and his teacher taught him, and his teacher taught him for the better part of 30 years. 30 years of my martial arts career. Didn't own a school yet, but I saw right away when I opened my school that everybody around me had 100 students. Personality driven, instructor taught whatever the hell he felt like teaching on any given night, and there was no rhyme or reason of a clear path to black belt, let alone something as basic as the next belt. So what I recognized for retention right away, that if I could really paint this picture of a clear path of progression in our school, we earn trust from the parents. We have clear expectations from the student and the parent. And 3, I could write systems better to train a team to teach this curriculum. If you're living from that nobody can teach better than me crap, I'm going to call you on that. It's because you haven't written systems and trained somebody to do it better than you. Feed your ego, right? Feed your ego all day. I'm the master. Nobody does it better than me. Sure. You want to live and die by that? Then you have your 75 students. That's fine. And don't get me wrong. You work a day job, medical benefits, pension, all that, and you do martial arts school as a hobby, and and you're up at 75 students, rock and roll. Good for you all day. But if you want to make this your life and a business to sustain your family, your team, give back to the community, save for retirement, enjoy your vacations and your life, then you need to get to 300 students. That's my number. 300 was the huge breaking point for me, where I could genuinely feel confident to pay a staff, pay admin, outsource my bookkeeping. All of that happened right around 300. Do the math. 300 students times $200 a month, right? $60K. Times that by 12. You're up at $720K. Pay your rent, expenses, everything. You will walk away with what? $250? Yeah, you could do a lot with 250,000, couldn't you? Right? Maybe not here in California, but you do a lot in most places of the country. Right? Hey, Bob, what's happening, sir? Gold's Martial Arts. Anybody coming aboard? Say hello. I love it when I can give you a shout out. So that's what I recognized with rotating curriculum. It was a way to organize my curriculum efficiently, effectively, where I could help parents and students understand clearly and be able to train a team to do it better than me. It was so clear. So again, this porridge is just right. The big thing was, like I shared, yellow belt was easy, yellow orange was harder, orange belt was super hard. So we had to go like this. The curriculum we did all in 1 year had to be just right, like that bowl of porridge. Okay? Everybody with me? So we began to look. We were way kata heavy in year 1. Way kata heavy. Hey, Bao! How are you, Bao, sir? Happy holidays. I still remember, sir, you and I, right? I still remember at Harvard, you and I having that great bowl of soup together. It was so wonderful. You're a good man, Val. Just wanted to share that because we had such a good time walking the streets of Harvard, and we shared a meal together. Some things stay with me, Val, and that was one of those things. And he bought me lunch. So, coming back to that was the big thing, right? Is to recognize that So something as basic as lining up a class now, we never line up by rank because you're just a level one student. Whether your belt is yellow, yellow, orange, or orange, we say on a dot in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and they're on a dot. Hey, David, sir. Welcome. Good morning, sir. Eva, hello, hello. So now when we line up a class, it's get on a dot in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I can't tell you how cumbersome when I watch schools line up people by rank and then they play this shuffle game to get people lined up by rank. We're all doing the same thing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter. I know who I am. If where I stand in line is going to make or break that, then my culture needs to be revisited. Right? That was a big one because we always lined up by rank. Right? So now with rotating curriculum, that's not necessary. Much, much more efficient. Okay, so then we figure, and this was the other real big kicker. Now, is there a big difference between a student that has been there 6 months to 9 months? No. 3 months to a year? Not really, because they're only coming twice a week, 45 minutes a class, right? So not really. So then we began to design curriculum that fit that. When I grew up, white belt had 3 katas at white belt. And to show you how difficult that was, one of those katas now sits up in year 4. In year 4, it's a much better experience. The kids enjoy it, and I can still keep the integrity of forms. I know a lot of people don't do forms. They got rid of them. They refuse to do them. That's okay. But for us, I really want to preserve that legacy for my instructor, one of my instructors, Great Grandmaster Ralph Castro, God rest his soul. I wanted to preserve that part. I did, and then I had a friend who had cancer, and he said the only thing that saved him when he went through all that cancer treatment was going through forms in his mind while he lied there in the hospital bed. That's powerful stuff. So I enjoy forms, and I'm not going to get rid of them. But we needed to shuffle that around. That was a key indicator. Imagine a form at white belt that is so hard, we had to move it into year 4. Wow, right? Because back then when they designed, there was no pathway. The instructor just made up stuff, without any true progression from white to black. There was just no rhyme or reason. In many martial arts, it was that way. So that was the first thing, knowing that I can teach curriculum to students that are all within a year of each other. That was the big thing. If you really think about it, I'm sure nobody can protest that you can't teach the same curriculum to kids that have been there within a year of each other. That's why we keep our white belt class standalone. But we're already having this conversation now. Would it be possible to do a rotating curriculum with a brand new student and somebody that's been there a year? Could we keep it fun and exciting? Right? Of course, our expectations would be a little different. If let's say we're doing a stripe that has a front kick, I would expect that student that's like going to, graduate out into level 2, meaning they're finishing their whole year, right? I would scrutinize his front kick a little more than that kid that's there for the first class, right? Because I know that kid that's there for the first class, if he earns the stripe based upon being a white belt, he'll eventually, that kick's going to look good by the end of year 1. Because we know we do a front kick in so many variations. We do it in sparring. We do it in a kicking exercise. We do it in our forms. So that front kick gets revisited a lot. You with me? Okay. So that was the first thing. Put in the comments if you agree it's possible to teach a curriculum to students that are all within a year of training together. Absolutely. Just like, do I believe someone who's been there 3 years and somebody that's been there 4 years could train together on the same curriculum? Absolutely. So that was a big eye opener for me. The next step in that, and like I said, if you had watched 8.0 and you have questions, put them in the comments, right? So many people have been enjoying it and reaching out to me. But if you're here and you physically have gone through the course of Rotating Curriculum 8.0, which is part of our It's Time group mentoring, which you should all be a part of, then put your questions in there, right? Put your questions. So the next step was Roland Osborne said to me, think of the movie Back to the Future. Remember that movie? He said, it's like that. Go back to the future. The future is a black belt. What do you want that black belt to look like? How many forms? What self-defense techniques? What fitness techniques? What character development, right? We have a 500-word essay that you have to write and present. So we did all these things. We knew how many forms, how many one steps, how many push-ups, how many everything. Then we worked backwards. And we asked ourselves methodically, if I'm a year one student, what form could everybody that had been there, because after 3 months, you get a yellow belt. So what student that's been there 3 months to a student that's been there 12 months could do in a form? In a form. So at that time, there was no form. I had to create one in its simplicity with the fundamental techniques. Okay. So you do reverse engineering. So you want to make a list of everything it takes to earn a black belt. Hey, Brian. What's up, Brian? Did you have a good holiday with Dakota? All right. So write that list. And I think you're going to begin to see, we even had some stuff that I thought black belts should do that I moved into first degree and second degree. Because again, remember, when most of this was mapped out, there was no rhyme or reason. But that's why I applaud systems like WTF or Kukiwan, the Taekwondo, it's all the way in the Olympics. Their curriculum is very designed. It's very strict. It's very formatted. And so it works really well. So that's the big thing I'm sharing with you. The more organized your curriculum is, the better off you're going to be. Cool? So think reverse engineering, black belt to white. And we've already accepted anybody that's within a year of training, it's good, right? Could have a year 2, 3, and year 3 students spar together all day. Height, weight appropriate, all that. But I can. So curriculum became much easier to see. Now, what does that curriculum look like? I love to receive the rotating curriculum guide that you're speaking of. We have struggled with it. Yeah, go ahead, Marco. Take care of him, okay? Take care of him. If he wasn't able to access that, whoever this is, please put your name in there too. Put your name in there. Yeah. Well, I mean, the deadline passed on the 4th, but we'll make sure. Marco, can you take his information? Just give Marco a contact, and he'll get you on that. So, what is that black belt going to be like? And don't hesitate. They're going to learn the form eventually. Move it up into, first degree, whatever you need to do. Whatever you need to do. Now, how do you orchestrate that? I'm going to give it to you the way we do it. We do 6 stripes. 6 stripes over a 3-month period. I'm going to explain this in a minute. Stay with me. We found by doing it over a 3-month period, then the 4th month in class, not some special graduation, other than black belt, which is a formal testing. It's a big to-do. It's much different. Every other belt is just, showing up to class. My kids don't show up on a Saturday to take a quiz in math. They do the quiz in class during the regular school hours, right? They do. So it's the same thing here. So the reason we use a 4-month cycle, stay with me. Now remember, we're administering curriculum between 2 locations, almost 1,000 students. So this is why in-class testing over a whole month makes sense. But someone said it takes a whole month. I'm going to tell you why. Follow me. January, February, March. April, review, makeup stripes, testing in class. You lose a whole week because of spring break. Our B days in most of our classes are what? Sparring. So are they really doing a whole month of testing? No, they're actually doing 3 45-minute classes. And we design it so each one of those 3 45-minute classes are covering 2 of the stripes that they actually earned in the 3-month cycle. You with me? I know it's a lot to unpack, but stay with me because this is what I do. I'm a master at rotating curriculum. I love it. Now, when we designed our calendar, we wanted to fall in line with the school district because people are in a rhythm and a flow. Their kids go to school. They want everything to coincide. So guess what? When kids have finals in high school, they have finals with us. Does that make sense? Yeah, right? It does. The next testing is what? August. Back to school, last minute vacations. So they don't have a whole month of testing. And then, of course, the last one is December, right? We're closed for a week for the holidays. People are flying out by the 23rd. So right now, we're really working hard to get everybody tested and done testing by the 14th. That's our goal. No, that's our goal. Cool? All right. So communicating with the parents, that became a big thing for me in rotating curriculum. I wanted it so clear that the parent could understand. So it hangs right up there. It says right now in our school, review, makeup stripes, testing, month of December. Clear as day. That's all it says. The TV says it. The e-newsletter says it. We push it to a text. It's very clear. But let's go through the 3-month cycle. You have learn week, earn week. Week 1, you come to class. You're learning the stripe. We're drilling it. Week 2, we review. You perform it in class. You get the stripe at the end of class. So that simple cycle of learn week, earn week is super powerful. Super powerful, especially in discussions with parents. My kid didn't earn a stripe this week. I understand, ma'am. It says right up there. We are on learn week. Yellow stripe 1. Oh, okay. Right. See, something as basic as that, I wanted to mitigate. And then earn week is where we're encouraging kids to really understand and learn that once you learn something, in order to earn the stripe, you must practice. So how do we support that? We have really good curriculum videos, easily accessed through our My Studio app, so that they can practice at home. It wasn't uncommon. We'd be driving down to the school and my daughter's looking at the phone, reviewing what it is that she's doing in class. That's just the nature of the beast, right? So giving them a tool like that, and that's a whole nother subject. But long story short, a demo video is not a curriculum video. A curriculum video is based upon it's taught in class and what are the sticking points. Of course, at the end of any curriculum video, we say, here's how you perform it to earn your stripe. But understand, you simply giving them a Poomsae demo video at 10 feet away with your back to the camera is not an instructional video. We're clear? Write that down. Because that's huge for us. Giving kids the ability to practice, easily and accessibly, all the YouTube, TikTok, and all the rest, makes a huge difference in being impactful, improving your retention. So learn week, earn week. After a 3-month cycle, we have 6 stripes. Now, we have about a 90-95% graduation rate. If we finish 3 months, there's going to be some stragglers, right? They have 3 out of 6, 4 out of 6, 5 out of 6. Any of my instructors can always confidently say when a child comes to class and goes, can I please test on this stripe right now? I didn't earn this stripe last week. That's okay, buddy. We'll get it in review and makeup stripe. This week, we're on green stripe or, whatever the stripe may be. So that became powerful because I can't tell you how many times instructors by default would simply say, I have to go talk to professor first. I have to go talk to professor first. That is the most unsatisfactory answer for a disgruntled client you could ever offer. So by empowering my team with simple systems like, it's right up there on the wall, we're on Learn Week. That's why nobody got a stripe this week. Oh, well, my kid was upset and pissed, right? Okay, I get it. So again, and culturally, educating the parent, educating the student, educating our team on the process became a big focal point. And by using visual cues like that are powerful. By pre-framing the kids, this is Learn Week, via email, newsletter, on the TV, became powerful. Announcing at the end of the class, okay, this is Learn Week. Next week, we're going to earn it. Make sure parents, you go to the app, watch the curriculum video for what? Yellow stripe 1. Because you know how horrible that was to be in between classes and a parent comes to me and says, what should my child practice for the next class? Well, we're working on ripping tiger, blah, blah, blah. It's like hieroglyphics. But to be able to say, just open up your app, please. And right there where the books are in the lower right corner, click on that and go to beginner yellow stripe 1. Boom, done. So that became a big thing in curriculum design, was creating a culture of understanding, cohesiveness, and communication. Cool? All right. Who else is hanging out with us? I see a lot of people, the eye in the sky. Put your name in. Tell me where you're tuning in from. All of that amazing stuff. And if you got a question about rotating curriculum as I go through this, feel free to post it. So Learn Week, Earn Week, 1 stripe. Learn Week, Earn Week. We just finished month 1. So what's really neat about that is that curriculum's the same year in and year out, right? We'll come into January, it'll be yellow stripe, orange stripe. February, green and blue. March, red and brown. So in training the team on how to teach it, we're always 2 weeks ahead. So in December, we'll cover yellow and orange. In January, we'll train the team on green and blue, right? March comes in February, we're training the team for March for red and brown. So the efficiency of being able to create your syllabus for your staff development, so simple. And remember, we're teaching them to teach, not to do it, but to teach it. Two different things. And so each year we just go deeper and deeper and get better at administering our curriculum. Okay? Now, little things that really help because kids get stressed out, really stressed out. We make sure at the end of every month we have a makeup stripe workshop because some kids don't want to wait the 3 months. They don't want to sit there class after class and their friend has their yellow stripe and they don't. So we also let them know because remember, we have no time to sit there and test you in class. We're on a new stripe. We're moving along. And of course, we have no gap between classes. So we want to roll. So by putting that in place, it's powerful, very powerful. Or you can always set 15 minutes aside before and after class with some assistants to test them out and review. Yeah, sure, you can do that too. The goal is I want to meet people where they're at. And I got sick and tired of getting frustrated with people not practicing. So I took it off the table, videos and all. We took it off the table and we made it real simple. Whatever we're teaching, we should be able to learn and drill in class so that they earn that stripe. And that's why in most cases, we're fundamentally discussing 3 to 8 moves. Year 1, year 2, about 3 to 5 moves. Year 3, year 4, of course, 8 moves all day long. Their capacity is much different. But then the big thing I think with rotating curriculum, let's say you have a stripe. It's a front kick. That's all it is a front kick. You have to teach it 50 different ways, drill it 50 different ways, so they think they're learning 50 different techniques. Does that make sense? It really is. I'm bored. I learned that already. Common reaction for kids. Well, you didn't learn it this way. Now we're going to jump over this, Wave Master bag that's laying sideways, and you're going to do a cartwheel over it. Then you're going to jump up and kick through the ring and throw your front kick, right? Whatever drills you decide, I think the challenge is we think teaching more is better. I say teach less and teach it more efficiently. And borrowing from Bruce Lee, what did he say? I don't fear a man that knows 10,000 kicks. I fear a man that's done one kick 10,000 times. You with me? So the simplicity of curriculum now becomes a creative process for you as the instructor. You need to take one technique and see if you can teach it and demonstrate it and drill it a multiple of ways. Everybody got that? Cool. All right. So that became the biggest thing in that. So let's talk about the way we stripe out and why this is so efficient. Now, I've shared this with everybody in the industry, and I'm extremely passionate about this, is that we are a paperless testing system. There is no paper whatsoever. Long time ago, we got rid of bell testing fees, and we just worked it into our pricing. Right now, twice a week is $259 a month. Okay? And I saw a post on this. A parent pulled their kid out at first degree. And, they said it's because they wanted to do other activities. But the one thing they threw in there, because it was bell testing time for first degree, was they didn't understand after all this time and money why they should have to pay them $450 for first degree testing. They've got a point. They got a point. So we felt it was more like a one-stop shop. I wanted to eliminate that whole stigma of collecting forms and belt testing fees. Because what an awkward moment that is, especially if it's in the middle of testing, right? And you got to go over to a parent in the waiting area and say, excuse me, ma'am, the belt testing fee wasn't paid for. There's no Disney in that. There's zero Disney in that. That's just a bad day, right? For the relationship and everything. And if I really think about it, the amount of money they've spent with me over how many years for first degree, right? And she did throw that in there. I don't see why we should have to pay that, but we're just ready to do other activities. The fact that she threw that in there shows she's disgruntled. So take that a step further. And I know I'm off subject a little bit, but this is why I encourage you to get rid of bell testing fees and just roll them into your tuition price. Just roll them in and be done with it. So that was a big one, right? Also, I think if I really broke it down in a given belt testing that you facilitate, how much does it cost you per student to do that? Hard costs are what? The belt? $5 now? I don't know. Let's be generous. 10. Let's say $10 for this belt, right? Maybe another $10 for a nice plaque and certificate if it's first degree. Now we're up to 20. I pay the team. How long is first degree testing? 2 hours. I'm paying a person to grade them, right? $20 an hour. There's $40, right? Okay, $40. Look, what are we at? $80. And for that, you're going to charge $450. Think about that for a moment. I don't think it makes a lot of sense. It just simply does not. And in exchange, they lost a person that had been there quite a while and first degree. Hey, what's up, Chris? What's Chris saying in there? Can you throw that up, Marco? We see that a few students who come to once a week in keeping up with the rapid rotation of learn and earn weeks. Any ideas to help you on videos offered? Yeah, absolutely, Chris. The big thing I think with once a week students, they should be doing the same amount of curriculum as a twice a week student. Twice a week students, A-day curriculum, B-day sparring. So that way we're able to organize our curriculum better because everybody's doing 1 day a week of curriculum, sir, because our second day is sparring. So in our school, we have a once a week program. And if you talk to Jonathan at Life Keto, he's built his whole school, like 300 something students on once a week programs. It can be done. It really can be. So that's the first thing, Chris, is if you're twice a week, one of those days are sparring. Pure and simple. That way we can design curriculum for the once a week or twice a week student. Makes no difference. Second, of course, the videos. Third, the makeup stripe workshops. And then for a while coming out of the pandemic, this was effective, but just not efficient staffing wise. We had somebody there doing 15-minute videos. We'd even do 15-minute group videos to review the stripe for kids that were missing them, right? And then, of course, you could do 15 minutes before a class. All of that adds up. It's not that they lack momentum. They just lack the clarity, right? Is it a little bit of a disconnect that you only see them once a week? Sure. Compared to a twice a week student? Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. But not impossible. Not impossible. And I look at my kids swimming, it was once a week. Futsal was once a week. Everything was once a week for my kids till they moved up, to a higher level of basketball and soccer. Everything was once a week. So I took that to mind that that's what parents like. And when mom comes to you and she's looking to fill out her kid's calendar, one of them gymnastics, another day they swim, blah, blah, blah. She doesn't want you to throw in her lap a contract, a 1-year contract, and demanding they come 3 days a week. Just, it's not, right? You want to create a low barrier of entry. So again, those are different ways that you can help mitigate that, Chris. What's up, Josh? That was my Miss Charlotte. I missed that little girl. By the way, the Excellent Kids program is awesome for us. Good, wonderful. And we're going to take that a step further. I haven't shared this openly yet because we're getting the lesson plans finalized, but let me run on a tangent for a moment, okay? White belts do not spar. They do not spar, not at all. And you know what we're doing, Eva? We're getting rid of year 1 sparring. But you know what that's going to require us to do? Because now the student coming twice a week for their first year is not going to spar. We need to have a lot more drills. And that's our discussion now, right? A lot more pad work, a lot more gaming out of it, right? What if we made this parkour course where they run over it, then they do the technique. 3 push-ups, pop up, then do the technique. Do the bag for power, do the clapper for, speed drills, and all that comes into play. Because for us, we use an acronym. And I know I'm on a tangent for a moment, but stay with me. CAPS, K-A-P-S. Write it down. Knowledge, accuracy, power, and speed. Okay? So what's a drill for knowledge? Well, we do it together in front of the mirror. You can demonstrate accuracy. Of course, wherever it goes to, kick to the groin, poke to the eyes, go to your target, right? I could do that with the smaller handheld targets. Of course, I could put one of our dots on a bag for them to poke. There's a million ways to do that. Power, obvious. You use the bags. the big bags, right? Freestanding wave masters, hanging bags for power. Of course, speed, right? Speed is fun too. Who could do 10 kicks the fastest? Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? I'm holding the here, you punch it. I got a pool noodle. I try to hit your hand. Got to punch faster. I'm not going to say rechamber. Punch that pad before I can hit you with the noodle. That's a game, right? That's an example. So the big thing with that, Eva, is I have to make sure now that year one students are not sparring at all, that we design the drills so they don't think like they're doing the same thing over and over. And that's really the challenge, right? That's really the challenge. I think I answered that question. Put that one up, Eva's question again. Now the next one. Yeah. Okay. So if they attend twice a week, how does the once a week and twice a week progress at the same level with the curriculum? Because if you're a once a week student, you're only doing curriculum 1 day a week. You don't spar ever. But you cannot earn a black belt in our school without sparring. But we found year one students, Eva, we ended up drilling 99% of the class because you can't let them loose and spar without hurting each other. But if we create the right drills in year one, where they're effectively working on speed and control and power and technique, by the time we have them start sparring in year two, they're going to be more efficient and have better control and not hurt each other. Yeah, because we've been trying to force a square peg in a round hole. I don't care how much we drill with year one, they're still not experienced enough. They go in there and whack each other, kick knees, and it's always been a challenge. And it's not a fun class because they got all this gear on and they're simply drilling with no contact. You put on gear so you can make contact. And we believe we can do that more confidently with year two. But see, here we are, right? Almost 1,000 students, $2 million a year. We are still bettering our curriculum. We are still revamping it. You know why? We make most of our money on martial arts instruction. And if you're not constantly refining that, making that better, improving it, that's why your attrition's high. That's why your retention is low. Okay? So does that answer that question, Eva? I hope it does. Because there was a time, oh God, once a week students, every other week, when you come to class on Friday, the first 20 minutes is curriculum. Then you painstakingly take 10 minutes putting on sparring gear, and then you spar and do drills for the last 15 minutes. It was horrible. It was horrible, but we tried. And when the day's done, it doesn't work. When you step on that mat for sparring, you're fully geared, mouthpiece in your mouth, because we're going to make contact, contact, and more contact. You with me? Okay. So let me go back to that other question. So with Excellent Kids, it was designed where it's strictly the kid on the mat with the instructor. The last 5 minutes was parent participation. Pandemic rolled around. I could not get a 4-year-old at Zoom. So, because the parent was shelter in place, we started creating this class, full parenting class. The whole time the parent is on the mat. The whole time, no, the whole time the parent is on the mat. And that's because on Zoom, they were with the kid the whole time. Monumental. So it became designing curriculum where we're teaching the valuable life skills parents want, where we're also teaching parenting skills, as well as allowing them to make a unique connection with family. I know when I took my kids to gymboree or swimming, I stand here like this on my cell phone. Good job. I'm not engaged. I'm just there, right? I'm just there as a parent, supporting in whatever way I can, but not interacting. So I knew the value of this class if I could cultivate it with genuine connections. That's why at the end of every drill we do, there's a high five, there's a low five. Halfway into class, we take a hug break, and the kids hug each other. I mean, the kids hug the parents, right? It's very cool. And so we've really worked on that since the pandemic. You know, we were in shelter in place until almost 2022, where we were at. So I'm able to create this, and from testing it and testing it and testing it, we now have this amazing program for 3 and 4-year-olds. Now it's not amazing, it's amazing. Then when the Excellent Kid becomes 5, they move into their own class, still doing Excellent Kids drills, but we try to focus more on some of the youth karate curriculum. So when that 5-year-old becomes 6 and he goes into youth karate, he hits the ground running. Yeah. So again, I mean, it's just everything's thought out, you guys. It's thought out. So with that said, what I'm sharing is we're going to be launching this version of Excellent Kids, which is a full parenting class. We have handouts, everything's being designed. What I'm personally going to do, and the way the program works, I don't know what the program is. I think it's like $1,000, $1,100. I don't believe in you paying me $400 a month every month for a program. Buy it. You buy the program, you own the program, it's yours forever. Forever, ever, forever, ever. All you need to do is subscribe for $99 a month to buy badges and stripes. That's it. And you get really good discounts. And that's through Kids Love Life Skills. So, with that said, what I'm personally going to do is I'm going to train the first batch of people myself. We're going to meet every week and be one life skill ahead of what you teach the next week. It can't get no better than that, folks. Every drill that I've designed, I'm personally going to talk you through it, demonstrate it with you so that you have this learning. And it'll be recorded, so you'll be able to use that. But I'm personally going to train myself. So if you're interested in that, reach out to Marco, right, and get on the waiting list for that. And then we're going to start that training because come January, what do we roll out with? Focus. Focus is the first one we do in Kids Love and Excellent Kids. Cool. Yeah, I'm really, really excited about that because there's nothing out there in the world that allows us to connect with our kids like that. There isn't. You can't do it in soccer, swimming. Yeah, I got in the pool at 18 months. My kid hated it, but this is a very unique experience. And TJ, my partner came up with it so well. He says it's about connecting. It's connecting. TJ is a parent, with an 18-month-old now. It's about connecting. He can't wait to get her in the Excellent Kids class. He cannot wait till she's 3. And again, the reason I think this became very important too, if parents find value in your program at 3 and they put them there before soccer, gymnastics, everything else, more likely they're going to stay with you, right? More likely they're going to stay with you. So I'm really excited and you should all be part of that. All right. Now, getting back to our belt testing process. And to me, this is what I think is very revolutionizing what we do in our businesses and for the industry. If they would just open their mind to it, I think they'd be so much happier. None of this freaking paperwork. No paperwork. No paperwork. None. None. So now, when we roll into belt testing, how many stripes should they have on their belt? Who's still with me? And new people coming aboard, say hello. Tell me where you're tuning in from. So at the end of a 3-month cycle, how many stripes should they have on their belt? Nobody? Come on. I'm going to wait. 6. Thank you so much. So I have 6 stripes on my belt. Every parent knows with those 6 stripes on their belt that they are ready for belt testing. And it's so great to have a parent come up to me and say, my kid hasn't earned stripes in weeks and weeks. Well, we are in review, makeup, stripe, and testing, ma'am. Oh, okay. Or my kid hasn't earned a stripe. Well, let me look at their belt, right? Let me look at the belt. Oh, we just finished month 2 of the cycle. They have yellow, orange, green, and blue on their belt. They're right on schedule, ma'am. You know how powerful that is? That's so powerful. So for me, I wanted to empower my team. And that's really what that came down to. There's nothing worse than have a poor 17, 18-year-old kid standing there and a parent's pissed off and they can't pacify them. But my team knows all they have to do is look at the kid's belt. All they have to do is look at the kid's belt. And we can tell you exactly where they are. We have parents coming up to us now. Hey, we're going on vacation by the 2nd week of December. Will my child be done with belt testing? Well, let me take a look. And we look at their belt. And how do we know? Because what we do is when they've passed it in class, we sign off on the stripe with a black Sharpie. So again, we're paperless. right? We're paperless. So that happened to us. And we looked at the kid's belt and we said, well, Mom, he's got 4 stripes signed. Definitely they'll be done by December 14th. And all I want them to practice is the red stripe and the brown stripe. You know why? Because those are the only 2 stripes that are not signed. You with me? So that became so monumental for my team to empower them to be able to help a parent that doesn't understand the process, to let a parent with a realistic, clear answer exactly where their child is. And that way, at the end of every month, and we're taking attendance, you guys, we're always looking. We come to the end of month 1 and you have no stripes on your belt. Whoa, we're on it. We're going to make sure you come to the makeup stripe workshop. We're going to reach out to your parent, because if they don't get their belt, they're going to quit. They're going to quit. We don't want to give it away, but we want to make sure that we give them every possibility to be successful, right? So that visual cue of looking at their belt at the end of a 2-week cycle and going, you did not earn your stripe. Please come to the makeup stripe workshop. Hey, Mom, Johnny needs a little more practice on that yellow stripe. Can you please sign him up for the makeup stripe workshop so that he can earn it? But again, I'm going to challenge us. If you have 90% of your people not earning a stripe in a 2-week period, what does that say? What does that say? Put it in the comments, right? What does that say? Hey, Norm Springfield of Storms Kempo. What a cool name. What a cool name. So if I finish a 2-week cycle and 90% of the students did not earn their stripe, what does that tell me? We ran into this. Okay, Norm is saying in a 3-month cycle, can you do 3 weeks of learning, 1 week of review and stripe test? You can, and that's what most people do. They do 1 stripe a month, sir. I think the challenge with that is I, as a parent, don't see the progress. So my suggestion is that 1 stripe you earn a month, turn it into 2. You with me? You with me? So learn week, earn week. Earn week is like review and testing for us. It's the same thing. It just rhymes, sounds good. We're in learn week. Next week is earn week. And my whole system of Kids of Life Skills is a learn to earn system. We're learning to earn things, right? You develop good work ethic. You develop pride in yourself for achieving goals. So learn to earn is part of our culture, part of the culture of One Martial Arts, Kids Love Life Skills, everything that I do. Cool. Yeah, and that was a perception, because let's take a deeper look at that, okay, Norm? Marco says, your systems are not strong enough and your curriculum might be too hard. Yep. So if you got 95% of your people not earning a stripe in a 2-week period, number 1, the curriculum is too hard. That's it. Number 2, your team probably doesn't like it because they're all stressed out trying to rush through this. Because I'm really big on learning and comprehension, not simply memorizing a bunch of moves. I'm not. I'd rather them, but the hard part is you have to disguise the repetition. You do a 3-move self-defense technique, you got to disguise the repetition for 40 minutes. Wow. That could be a challenge, right? It could really be a challenge. And that's the big thing. If you look at if someone like a basketball team, they'll do drills they never play in the game. Like, what the hell is that? Right? My son does all these drills, and it's like, but you don't do that in the game. Well, you're not meant to. It's part of preparing you for the game. Same thing here. Right? I could take something as simple as a front kick and have people walk around the room on the balls of their feet, right? And play tag. And if you go off the balls of your feet, you're out, right? See, something as basic as that, sir, so that the muscle memory of a front kick becomes reinforced because they're walking around the room on the balls of their feet. You with me? See, something as basic as that. We're trying, if you understand the element of the technique, right? The hardest thing for a kid to do is to kick with the ball of their foot, right? On a front kick. So we've made that more fun. We made that a lot more fun. So that's the big thing. And we ran into that too. When kids are not getting to the next stripe, then I know we say kids are weak today, they're soft, blah, 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 blah. But hey, Michael J. Fox, who I respect greatly, said if a kid doesn't learn the way you teach, teach the way they learn, right? It's not about quantity, it's about quality. So there's an argument for that. You just got to make sure, if you teach a cross punch for one whole class, they think they're doing 20 different techniques, right? I can do a cross punch in front of a mirror, like shadow boxing for form. I can do a cross punch on a bag for power. I can do a cross punch on a pad, punching through a ring, right? Punching through a ring. I can do that as well for accuracy. I can do it with a partner, right? Where my body's this one, I turn square, you tap me in the chest. I turn square, you tap me in the chest for a timing drill. So there's so many ways. You just got to disguise that. You do. I can do cross punches across the floor, right? Because you're shuffling, shuffle, cross punch, shuffle, getting across the floor. There's another drill. So there's so many drills you can design to disguise a repetition. 3 jumping jacks, 3 push-ups, pop up, and give me a cross punch and ki. That's really the art. It's not how much you teach. It's how efficiently you teach. Cool? So that's my answer for that. If 95% of your people aren't getting to, earning that stripe, it's too hard. Same thing with graduation. I know somebody took pride and said that, I only awarded 2 black belts in 50 years. Okay, then either you're a really crappy teacher or your curriculum is just so hard that, nobody can endure the process. Either of which doesn't help you impact lives and make a difference. It simply doesn't. Cool? All right. So then let me go through that. Let me get into that last part of that. So we're signing off those stripes through the month of Make It Stripes Review and Testing. We're paperless. We're paperless. And the good news is all the belts have been pulled. All the certificates have been printed. We wrap the certificate around the belt, just like they did in old school high school diploma. Remember, that was very symbolic. You got the rolled up piece of paper with a ribbon wrapped around it, with your cap and gown. We started doing that. That was TJ's idea. Because you know how hard it is to physically put the belt on, 30 kids in a class? It's so time consuming. So the simple thing, what they're after the parent is the awarding of the belt more than anything. Not you tying it on the kid, you awarding it. So we shake their hand, we hold the belt like this, with wrapped around the belt with their name showing. We even wrap the certificate around the belt where the name part is showing. So it's ready to go. So how do we get that prep beforehand? I'm going to tell you. As soon as December ends, we do a massed grading update in my studio. So if you're a level 1 student, yellow, orange, and orange, mass update, boom, you all get moved to the next belt. But guess what happens immediately? We print out the new certificates for the end of the next 3-month cycle. We're already inventorying belts and ordering them. So when we start a belt testing cycle in month 4, all the belts are pulled, all the diplomas are printed, they have a rubber band wrapped around them, and they sit in little laundry baskets. My goal was to empower the team to make this thing paperless. Paperless. There's no reason for that. Nobody calls me up and makes me pay money when my son takes his finals in high school. It will not happen. It won't. It just will not happen, right? So again, being mindful of that. When I heard that conversation at Facebook where the kid's quitting at first degree because mom says we have other activities, but by the way, I don't feel after all the time we spent with you, we should have to pay more money for a testing. So the fact that they threw that into the conversation is something that would make my spidey sense tingle and go, she might have a point there. We don't charge for testing. We've rolled it into our tuition, right? It's a fixed cost for me. The payroll, the cost of the belt, the certificate, the electricity, the whole 9 yards. It's worked into the pricing. And I had that question. Somebody said, well, you're $259 for twice a week. The guy down the street's only $199. Can you tell me why? I said, well, do they have contracts? Yes, they do. Okay. All right. We don't. Everything's a month-to-month subscription. We believe on earning your trust each and every class, each and every month. Oh, that's appealing. Do they have an enrollment fee? Well, I don't know. Okay. Do they have a cancellation fee? I don't know. Do they have a bell testing fee? I don't know. I don't know. And so what happened after all that, which was very significant for me, when the parent came back and signed up with us, they said, we realized when we added all those additional costs, we were paying them close to $300 a month. I said, yeah. So again, rolling in our bell testing fees like that, it has streamlined everything we do. We're still getting the money, just to cover the belt cost, because I want that to be a big part of retention. And I don't want that. When I first saw that perception of nickel and diming, it really made me sad. Just made me sad. And when people said, well, they're a belt factory, right? They're a belt factory. I said, a belt factory? Yeah, because every 8 weeks we test, every 8 weeks you're paying belt testing fees. I don't want to be a black belt factory. I don't want to be a McDojo. I don't want to be a business that people perceive as nickel and diming. I don't, right? I don't. So we began to make those fundamental changes culturally to create that Disney experience. And I tell you, when we do a 4-hour black belt test, you get this beautiful embroidered black belt with this wooden plaque with your certificate on it. You didn't get that in any of your ranking all the way up. It's magic. And nobody's paid for it in that way. They paid thousands and thousands of dollars being in your school, right? So I want you to think about that. And then what's neat about that Learn Week, Earn Week, everybody, is once you earn a black belt, you show up to class, guess what? It's Learn Week. The following week, Earn Week. That system never changes. And what that has done for our black belt retention is phenomenal, because their habit is Learn Week, Earn Week, Learn Week, Earn Week, Learn Week, Earn Week, right? It's a very a strict habit. Make sense? Yeah. And so I've mitigated all this stuff to make it more efficient for my team, to improve the communication with the students and parents and my team, and to create this experience where we're impacting lives and making better martial artists, but also satisfying that need to progress, to move with your friends and your classmates through that. But I had it yesterday. The kid didn't practice. He wasn't ready. I couldn't sign off on his stripe. But, I gave him a hug and told Dad, he'll get it next class. I made sure to buffer that, right? Jackson, if you practice a little more, sir, I'm looking forward to you earning that stripe. I want to sign it for you next Thursday. All right? I really want to sign this for you. So please promise me you'll practice. See? So you can't just sign stripes to sign them. And I'm very passionate about that. Cool? All right. All right. We did a good job today, Marco. So if you have more questions about this, just, feel free to DM me, reach out. Do watch Rotating Curriculum 8.0. We'll make sure to get that for you. The person who didn't get it. Yeah, you're very welcome, man. Best to Dakota too, Brian. I'm very passionate about curriculum development because it is the heart and soul of any great martial arts school. It is the bread and butter of any martial arts school. And if you're a good educator, you should always be producing class syllabuses and lesson plans and things of that nature. You should. You can't just step on the mat and teach whatever the heck you want. That doesn't make sense to me. And so I spend a lot of time, and I've worked with jiu-jitsu, I've worked with Shotokan, I've worked with Kung Fu, I've worked with karate, Kenpo. This for rotating curriculum can be applied to any style. Taekwondo, I've worked with Taekwondo people on rotating curriculum. It can be applied to any martial arts style. And when you tell me it can't be done, it's because you suffer from a fixed mindset. If you tell me that's not the way we do it, you suffer from a fixed mindset. If you tell me, we're traditional school, I teach the way my teacher taught me and his teacher taught them, you suffer from a fixed mindset. So if you have 75 students, decade after decade, that's your choice. And that's okay. That's okay if that's your version of success. Cool? All right, let's thank our sponsors. Marco, Tucson Market Muscles, My Studio, Kids Love Life Skills, LC Accounting, and Kin Creative. What do we got coming up? It's Time Life Freedom. It's in November. I know, right? Because it always sells out. It's only for 20 school owners. You'll make a good investment, but you're not like a big herd at a convention center in Vegas. 20 of us, 4 days, training, curriculum, business, personal development, and wealth building. 4 days. And this one is called It's Time Life Freedom, November 8th through 11th. Mark will go ahead and put the link in there. And I encourage you to make this investment and get signed up. We've done it for 8 years. It always sells out, because it's 20 people. But it's going to be, as everyone is, it's the best investment you can possibly make. Cool? All right. Thank you so much for being here today. I know rotating curriculum is a beast, but if you can really open your mind to the potential, study the 8.0. If you have questions, reach out to us at me and my team at It's Time Group Mentoring. Marco, Jason, Monique will be happy to help you. Cool. All right. I am Brannon Beliso. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to this podcast, Success Never Sleeps. Follow me at Instagram. For everything else, go to brannonbeliso.com. Until we talk again, this is Success Never Sleeps. You go out there, live your best life.